Welcome back, Deep Divers. Today we're going back in time a bit.
Woo! Time travel. I'm intrigued.
Well, sort of. We're diving into this ebook about Bitcoin. It was written back in 2018 by Alex Venieris.
2018. Wow, that does feel like ages ago in the crypto world, especially with Bitcoin potentially hitting $100,000 in 2025.
Right. That's what we're here to figure out. Is this ebook still relevant, or is it just ancient history in the fast-paced world of crypto?
Well, some fundamentals never change, right? Let's find out.
Exactly. This ebook covers it all. The history of Bitcoin, how it works, ways to get it, investment strategies, security concerns, even its potential impact on businesses and economies.
Sounds comprehensive. A good foundation to see where things stand now in 2024.
Okay, let's start with the history. The ebook takes us back to the very beginning, to the mysterious birth of Bitcoin, with that enigmatic figure, Satoshi Nakamoto.
Ah, yes, the ghost in the machine. Still no one knows who created Bitcoin, right?
It's wild. But what's interesting is the timing. 2008, the year of the global financial crisis. Remember?
Yeah.
People were losing faith in those traditional institutions.
Absolutely. There was a real hunger for a decentralized system, something outside the control of governments and banks. It was the perfect breeding ground for Bitcoin.
And to think, Bitcoin went from being worth pennies to thousands of dollars. Could it really be on its way to $100,000?
It's certainly a possibility. But remember, the ebook also talks about Bitcoin's price volatility, like that great bubble back in 2011.
Oh, yeah, I remember hearing about that.
Makes you wonder, are we setting ourselves up for another roller coaster ride?
That's a good point. But hey, the ebook also emphasizes Bitcoin's limited supply. Only 21 million will ever exist, right?
Exactly. That built-in scarcity is a key driver of its value. It creates a price floor and fuels all that speculation about its future.
Okay, so scarcity equals value. Got it. Now, let's get a little techie. The ebook explains the whole blockchain and mining thing. What exactly is that all about?
Think of the blockchain like a giant public ledger. It records every single Bitcoin transaction ever made.
So it's totally transparent. Anyone can see it.
Exactly. That's a radical shift from traditional finance, where things are usually shrouded in secrecy. And mining isn't just about creating new Bitcoin.
Oh, it's not.
It's also about verifying and securing all those transactions. Miners solve these complex mathematical puzzles to add new blocks to the blockchain. That makes sure no one can spend the same Bitcoin twice.
It's like the security guard of the system, making sure everything's legit.
Precisely. And the ebook goes into how the difficulty of mining increases over time. Makes you wonder, is it even profitable for the average person anymore?
Yeah, it's a good question. Do you need like a supercomputer and a PhD in math to mine these days?
Well, the hardware has evolved a lot. It went from using regular CPUs, then to powerful GPUs, and now to these specialized chips called ASICs.
ASICs. So it's become a real tech arms race, huh?
Oh, absolutely. Pushing the boundaries of what's possible. But we'll get into that more later.
Okay, sounds intense. So for us regular folks, how do we even get started with Bitcoin if we can't mine it?
Well, the ebook outlines a few ways. You can buy it directly on exchanges like Coinbase or Kraken. You can trade other cryptocurrencies for it. Or you can get paid in Bitcoin for work.
Interesting. So there are options even for non-techie people.
Definitely. But we'll dive deeper into all those methods after the break. Stay tuned.
Okay, so we've covered the history, the tech behind Bitcoin, and even how to get some. But let's be real, the big question is...
Yeah, can you actually make money with this thing?
Exactly. Is it all hype, or is there real potential here?
Well, that's what Alex Venieris was trying to figure out back in 2018 when he wrote this ebook.
And we're trying to figure that out now in 2024, especially with those predictions of Bitcoin hitting $100,000 in 2025.
Right. It's a pretty tempting thought. The ebook actually goes into both trading and long-term investing strategies for Bitcoin.
So there are different approaches you can take, like depending on your risk tolerance and all that.
Absolutely. Trading is more about riding those short-term price swings. Remember that volatility we talked about?
Yeah, trying to time the market and all that sounds a bit risky for me.
It can be. High risk, high reward. The ebook stresses practicing, planning, and definitely keeping your emotions in check.
Yeah, you don't want to make impulsive decisions when money's on the line.
Yeah.
Any specific platforms the ebook recommends for trading?
It mentions a few popular ones: Coinbase, Kraken, Bitstamp, Bitfinex. It breaks down their features, fees, and security measures so you can compare.
That's helpful. Okay, what about investing? That sounds more my speed long term.
Yeah, investing is more about holding Bitcoin for the long haul, believing in its growth potential. The ebook outlines two main strategies: dollar cost averaging and lump sum investing.
Dollar cost averaging, that sounds familiar. Isn't that where you invest a little bit at a time regularly?
Exactly. It helps smooth out the impact of those price fluctuations. Like, instead of buying a bunch when the price is high, you spread it out.
Makes sense. Less risky that way. Yeah.
Definitely. Then there's lump sum investing. As the name suggests, you invest a larger amount all at once.
So if you're really bullish on Bitcoin, that could lead to bigger gains, but also bigger losses if things go south.
That's the trade-off. High risk, high reward, like we talked about with trading. The ebook also mentions cryptocurrency hedge funds.
Hedge funds, those are for like super rich investors, right?
Yeah, they're more hands-off, but they often come with hefty fees, not for the casual investor.
Okay, so whether it's trading or investing, there's a lot to consider. What are some key takeaways from the ebook for navigating the Bitcoin market?
Well, the ebook really hammers home the importance of having a plan, knowing your risk tolerance, and most importantly, only investing what you can afford to lose.
Yeah, don't bet the rent money on Bitcoin. Yeah.
Exactly. It's easy to get caught up in the hype, but you gotta stay level-headed. Also, remember, no one has a crystal ball.
No one can predict the future for sure.
You know, it's easy to look back and think, oh, I should have bought Bitcoin when it was $10, but hindsight is always 20/20.
That's true for pretty much everything in life, I guess. You got to make the best decision with the information you have at the time.
Right. So we've talked about acquiring Bitcoin, investing in it, but there's one more crucial piece to the puzzle, keeping it safe.
Ah, yes, security. That's a big one in the crypto world, isn't it?
Definitely. The ebook dedicates a whole section to this. It all starts with understanding those private keys.
Private keys.
Yeah, they're basically like super long, complex passwords that give you access to your Bitcoin. Lose your private key, you lose your Bitcoin. Simple as that.
Oh, wow. So they're super important. No room for error there.
Exactly. Which is why secure storage is so crucial. The ebook goes into different types of wallets, each with pros and cons.
Wallets, like digital wallets.
Right. There are online wallets, convenient for everyday transactions, but maybe more vulnerable to hacking. Mobile wallets, for accessing Bitcoin on the go. Desktop wallets, more secure, but you gotta store those private keys on your computer.
Sounds like it's all about finding the right balance between convenience and security.
Exactly. Then there are the more hardcore options. Paper wallets and hardware wallets.
Paper wallets. Like you literally write down your private keys on a piece of paper. Sounds a bit old school.
It is, but it's surprisingly secure. As long as you keep that paper safe, offline, away from prying eyes.
So no coffee spills allowed. What about hardware wallets?
They're like little gadgets specifically designed for storing cryptocurrency. Often considered the gold standard for security because they keep your keys offline and protected from malware.
So if you've got a serious Bitcoin stash, that's the way to go.
It's a strong contender for sure, but the ebook emphasizes that the best approach is often a combination of wallets.
So like diversify your security strategy, just like you diversify your investment portfolio.
Exactly. You might use an online wallet for small daily stuff, a hardware wallet for your long-term holdings, and a paper wallet as a backup. Belt and suspenders approach.
Smart. Okay, so we've covered acquiring, investing, and securing Bitcoin. But how does all this play out in the real world? Like, can Bitcoin actually change how businesses operate?
That's a question we'll tackle in the next part of our deep dive. The ebook explores the potential for Bitcoin to disrupt those traditional business models and create some exciting new opportunities.
Okay, so we're moving from the theoretical to the practical. I'm excited to see what the ebook has to say about that.
Okay.
All right, so we spent the last 2 parts of this deep dive really getting into the nitty-gritty of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Its history, the tech behind it, all those investment strategies.
And of course, how to keep your precious Bitcoin safe from those digital bandits.
Exactly. But now, let's shift gears a bit. Can Bitcoin actually change how businesses operate in the real world? That's the question.
It's a big one, and it's what fascinated Alex Venieris back in 2018 when he wrote this ebook. And it's even more relevant today, I think.
Yeah, especially with all the talk of Bitcoin going mainstream. Yeah. So let's get practical. What are the actual advantages for businesses thinking about accepting Bitcoin?
Well, the ebook points out a major hurdle right off the bat: Bitcoin's volatility.
Ah, right. That whole price roller coaster thing.
Businesses need stability. It's hard to set prices when the value of your currency is swinging wildly.
Makes sense. You don't want your profits disappearing overnight because Bitcoin took a dip.
Exactly. But the ebook talks about how payment processors like BitPay have stepped in to solve this.
BitPay. What do they do?
They allow businesses to accept Bitcoin, but then they instantly convert it into the local currency.
Oh, I see. So the business owner still gets paid in dollars or euros or whatever without having to deal with the Bitcoin fluctuation.
Exactly. It takes a lot of the risk out of the equation for those businesses.
That's pretty clever. So, volatility aside, what are some other upsides for businesses accepting Bitcoin?
Well, one big one the ebook highlights is the elimination of chargebacks.
Chargebacks. The bane of every business owner's existence.
Right. With traditional credit cards, a customer can dispute a charge, and it's a whole headache for the business.
Yeah, you ship a product, provide a service, and then bam, a chargeback. It's a mess.
But with Bitcoin, once a transaction is confirmed on the blockchain, it's final. No takebacks, no disputes.
So it's like a guaranteed payment.
Pretty much, it creates a level of certainty you just don't get with those traditional systems.
Okay, I can see why businesses would like that. What else?
Speed and low cost of transactions. Bitcoin payments are usually processed way faster than bank transfers, especially for international stuff.
Yeah, those international bank fees can be killer.
Right. And the fees for Bitcoin transactions are much lower. Big plus for businesses working globally.
Saves time and money. Makes sense. The ebook also mentions increased security as a benefit. But isn't crypto supposed to be risky?
It's true there are scams and risks, but for processing payments, Bitcoin actually has some advantages. The transactions are encrypted and secured by the blockchain, making them super resistant to fraud.
So it could actually be safer than using your credit card online or at a store.
Potentially, yes.
Wow.
Plus, businesses don't have to store all that sensitive customer data like credit card numbers, so their liability is reduced if there's a data breach.
Yeah, data breaches are a huge concern these days. So that's a win-win for both the business and the customer.
Right. And the ebook also argues that accepting Bitcoin can help businesses tap into new markets.
New markets, how so?
Well, by accepting Bitcoin, businesses can attract customers from anywhere in the world who prefer to use it.
It's like opening your doors to a whole new global customer base.
Exactly. And this could be especially impactful for businesses in developing economies where access to traditional financial services might be limited.
So Bitcoin could help level the playing field.
That's the idea. It's one of the most compelling aspects of its potential. But of course, the ebook also acknowledges the challenges.
What kind of challenges?
Well, lack of awareness is a big one. A lot of people still don't really understand Bitcoin. And then there's the regulatory uncertainty. Governments are still figuring out how to deal with crypto.
Makes sense. It's new territory for everyone. And I guess some people might still see Bitcoin as too risky or complex.
Yeah, that perception is a hurdle. It takes time for new technologies to gain widespread acceptance.
It's like those early days of the internet when people were hesitant to buy things online, and it all
Yeah.
seems so normal now.
Exactly. But the potential is there. It's fascinating to watch this all unfold.
Yeah, it's like we're witnessing a financial revolution in real time.
And this ebook, even though it's from 2018, gives us a glimpse into those early days. But it also raises a question that's still relevant today. If Bitcoin actually does hit that $100,000 mark, what kind of world will we be living in?
Wow, that's a big question. It makes you think, doesn't it? Will we see Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies become even more integrated into our lives?
Will it reshape the financial landscape as we know it? Will it empower individuals and challenge those traditional institutions? These are all questions we can only speculate about now.
It's exciting and a bit daunting at the same time.
I agree. But one thing's for sure, the future of finance is being rewritten as we speak. And Bitcoin is a major player in that story.
Well, that's been quite a journey, from the mysterious origins of Bitcoin to its potential to revolutionize the way we do business. It's been a fascinating deep dive.
Yeah, and it's amazing how relevant those insights from 2018 still are today. It just goes to show the power of ideas and how quickly technology can change the world.
Thanks for joining us on this exploration of Bitcoin. We hope you've learned something new and maybe even started thinking about the future of finance in a whole new way.
And until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep those deep dives going.